Welcome to Rob on Holiday. In today's video, we're talking about how to use public transport in the Italian city of Bergamo. We'll be sharing the best way to get from Bergamo Airport to the city and how to use public transport, particularly the two funiculars. Let's get started. Most people will arrive in Bergamo via either Milan Bergamo Airport or Bergamo train station. Let's start by talking about the airport. Milan Bergamo Airport is just 3 miles from the city centre, making the journey from the airport to your hotel really quick and easy. As far as public transport goes, the best way to get from the airport is to take the number 1 bus, which stops just outside the door to both departures and arrivals. The number 1 bus route covers most major areas of the city, including the railway station, Porta Nuova, and the funicular station in Città Bassa, and also stops on the Viale della Mura and the Colle Aperto in the Città Alta. A single ticket for the bus costs just €3, but depending on how many times you'll be using the bus and funiculars throughout your time in Bergamo, it might be better to buy a day-based tourist ticket. More on that later. The other option is to take a taxi from the airport. The taxi stand is also just outside the door for arrivals, and a journey to the Città Alta takes just 15 to 20 minutes. If you're arriving in Bergamo as part of a day trip from Milan, you'll probably arrive at the train station. From here you could also take a taxi, which takes around 10 minutes to reach the Città Alta. As I mentioned before, the number 1 bus also stops outside the train station, and this will take you up to the Città Alta, specifically to the Colle Aperto area of the western side of the medieval centre. You can also choose to take the number 1 bus to the lower Bergamo funicular station and arrive in the Città Alta by funicular. More on how the funiculars work in just a minute. Once you're in Bergamo, if you're staying in the Città Alta, everything in this section of the city is walkable in 10 to 15 minutes, so you don't need to worry about any public transport to get around. It's also worth noting that for the most part, there isn't public transport available inside the Città Alta due to its thin cobbled streets. However, there's more to Bergamo than just the Città Alta. In fact, the city of Bergamo is essentially split into 3 levels: the Città Bassa, the lower, modern area of the city, the Città Alta, the high town, the medieval centre where you'll find most of the historic sites, and also the San Vigilio area, the highest section of the city that's home to the ruins of San Vigilio Castle. The easiest way to travel between these 3 levels of the city is by using Bergamo's 2 funiculars, the Città Alta funicular and the San Vigilio funicular. The Città Alta funicular transports passengers between the Città Bassa and the Città Alta. The lower station is located at the end of Via Vittorio Emanuele II, which is also where you'll find the staircase leading to the pedestrian entrance to the Città Alta. Trust me though, you'll want to avoid this walk unless you are very fit. It's steep and uphill all the way. The upper station of the Città Alta funicular is in the Piazza Mercato delle Scarpe, which is just a 3 to 4 minute walk from the Piazza Vecchia, the main square in the medieval centre. It's worth noting here that if you're visiting the Città Bassa, it's best to combine the funicular with the number 1 bus. Use the funicular to get down to the Città Bassa and then board the number 1 bus right outside the lower funicular station to head into the centre of the Città Bassa. The number 1 bus does head up to the Città Alta as well, but we think riding in the funicular is a more exciting way to travel. The San Vigilio funicular transports passengers up from the Città Alta to the 3rd and highest level of the city, the San Vigilio district. To access this funicular, head to the western side of the Città Alta and through the Porta de Sant'Alessandro, where you'll find the lower station. The upper station leads out to the Via al Castello, which offers stunning views back over the Città Alta below and is just a 5-minute walk from the San Vigilio Castle itself. So, how much does it cost to use the funicular? A single ticket costs €1.70. However, given that you may use the funiculars and the buses multiple times throughout your stay in Bergamo, we recommend the Bergamo Tourist Transport ticket. The ticket costs just €4.90 for 24 hours, and this covers your travel on any of the buses in the city centre, including the Città Bassa and the Città Alta and the funiculars. If you're also planning to take the bus from the airport to the centre, you can buy a 24-hour or 72-hour transport pass for the whole Bergamo network, which costs just €8.50 and €14.50 respectively. These passes are available to purchase at machines at major stops, including the funicular stations, the airport and Bergamo Central train station. However, the easiest way to buy your tickets is through the ATB mobile app. Whether you have a paper or electronic ticket, you will have to validate it each time you board a form of transport. You can validate your ticket at the machines by the doors on board the buses and at the entrance to the funicular boarding platforms. And basically that's all you need to know to use the public transport system in Bergamo. So let's quickly recap the main points. To get from the airport or the train station to the city, you can take either the number 1 bus or a taxi. You don't need transport to go from one site to another in the Città Alta, as everything is within a 10 to 15 minutes walk. To get from the Città Bassa to the Città Alta, first take the number 1 bus from the centre to the lower funicular station and then take the funicular up to the Città Alta. To get from the Città Alta to the San Vigilio area, take the funicular next to the Porta San Alessandro. Bus and funicular tickets work on the same system. A single ticket for the city centre costs €1.70 and €3 if you want to include the airport. The best value ticket for city breakers is probably the 24-hour pass, which costs €4.90 for all travel in the city centre or €8.50 in the centre and out to the airport. You can buy tickets from vending machines or via the ATB app. You need to validate your ticket each time you board a form of transport. That's it for today's video. We hope you found this Bergamo transport guide useful. If you have any questions about using the public transport in Bergamo or about visiting this gem in the Italian north, reach out to us in the comments and we'll be more than happy to get back to you. If you are planning a trip to Bergamo, we have a full Bergamo city guide available for you to watch on the channel now, showing the best of what the city has to offer. Thanks for watching Rob on Holiday, and we'll see you next time.